Hello.
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 Welcome to episode 1 of the Secret Streamer Bakery podcast.
What's up, bakers?
Yeah.
We talk baking, not baking.
That's right. This is the
Exactly.
podcast that we made and will do until our friends figure out that we haven't done.
So to get the elephant out of the room, as the saying goes,
That's the saying.
it's called the Secret Streamer Bakery podcast because our friends wanted to make a podcast and we said it would be a bad idea and stop the conversation. But then we decided to make a secret one because it'd be funny when they found out that we have been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
The goal is
Well-
to get it long, like a good year maybe.
At least double digit a year.
I mean that's double digits probably, right? We
Double
don't know how
digits
frequent.
is
right?
If we plan to do weekly episodes, it'll be about 12 weeks before
There's,
10
there's
weeks.
more
until
than
we hit
12
double
weeks in a year, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Let me do the math.
I mean,
I'm not
yeah.
saying. Oh, okay. I'm not saying like a whole
Yeah.
year, but like for double-digit numbers, it'd be 10 weeks.
I would want a
Or,
whole
like,
year.
A whole year would be extremely funny.
See, what if we make this go long enough to the point where it get like at some point we actually do the real Streamer Bakery podcast? Like at some point that actually happens, and then we also have the Secret Streamer Bakery podcast running parallel to that.
That would be really funny. I don't think the real Streamer Bakery podcast will ever be a thing that actually happens.
It's like if they ever look up, like they make it and they look up Streamer Bakery podcast, right under that will be Secret Streamer Bakery podcast.
That
Yeah,
is-
if we
And they'll be like, what the hell is this?
If we manage to grow to such a large following that Streamer Bakery will just see Secret Streamer Bakery.
I mean,
Yeah.
I hope they find it eventually. But I think it would
I-
be incredibly funny if we go like multiple years without them figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is why, I mean, obviously, anyone watching, you can't say anything.
Our streamer squad out there.
Yeah, our streamer gang, our baker heads.
Our silent bakers out there.
That's us, yeah. Ooh, I got a really good name. By the way, we're gonna call you guys different things every episode. Don't be alarmed.
Well, no, don't call them that, because like if we keep saying different groups, then whoever is watching this will be like, oh, all these different groups are watching this podcast.
Well, yeah, they are because we're the most
Yeah.
popular podcast on the internet.
Yeah,
Check
of
that.
course.
Guys, is gaslighting bad?
No.
So yeah, here's our first topic today: is gaslighting bad?
I'm always worried I'm gonna take it too far one day.
I think so far you have.
Yeah,
I'm worried
you're-
it's affecting like my personality as a whole.
We should contextualize this a bit because we just threw out gaslighting, and the first assumption is yes, gaslighting is bad.
All right, you should do it. I think you introduced it to the friend group, right?
I did, yes. So
Yeah.
we
you're right.
gaslight. No, yeah, you're misremembering. I did.
Yeah, I yeah.
So
You
obviously,
can even go like 5 minutes without starting gaslighting.
it's actually a problem. So, you know, with the whole gatekeep gaslight girl boss meme that happened, good way to date us. I started gaslighting people. Not really gaslighting. I
More of a
said,
joke gaslight.
yeah,
you
joke
gaslight things
gaslight.
that they would obviously not fall for.
and it's not even real gaslighting because I would just like lie about like, oh nope, the sky's not blue, or oh it's not red, until somebody said, hey, that's not even gaslighting, you're just lying. And I said, no, that's not the case, you're just misremembering. And so
Yeah.
we've kind of had a downward spiral where this is a common thing that happens multiple times every day in a conversation.
Yeah, like every single conversation will have at least at least 10 phrases of someone saying, no, you're misremembering something that.
Yeah. But now the problem is we've gone a little further and we figured out that, well, instead of just saying, no, you're misremembering, we've started doing it to real things. Nothing important. It's like, oh, what did I eat? Or like, actually, it's just making random shit up. So we'll say like,
It's-
oh yeah, remember when you said this, like, you hate people? And it's like, no, he
Like-
never said that.
It started to become a bit of a problem though.
I
like
think-
I started to do it so much that like my dear close friends don't even like believe like like when I say something that is actually true that is kind of hard to believe. Pre-gaslighting, my friends would believe me because we all trust each other. But post-gaslighting, no one believes a word that comes out of my mouth,
Yeah, I
which is a
also
bit of a problem. We normally don't talk about important things.
yeah, that
Yeah,
is that is a one downside. I
the
mean, I
one
think
downside.
yeah, yeah. I think going back to when it started, I think one of the first initial bits of gaslighting was when we talk about how a certain someone drank 3 liters of Sprite without
No, no,
blinking.
it's 3 bottles without blinking.
So that is a lie.
It was 3 bottles.
It's a lie, yes.
Okay, I'll be honest. We did it so much and then like gaslit in so many different ways. I didn't actually know if it was true or not.
That person's mother did for a little while believe that he did do that.
We gaslit his mother?
Well, that's at board games. Me and a few
Where do we
people.
draw the line? Like,
We didn't gaslight. It's we guess when we said it to him, his mother overheard and then asked him about it, and he just said, "Yeah," and she believed it for a little while until we kept saying it. Then she was like, "Something tells me that's off." That's actually the first recorded instance of gaslighting in our friend
Yes, and the worst part is about that is that it got worse. It went from 3 bottles to 3 liters just one day.
I
And
don't
that's how
remember
it's-
that, and I'm actually confident in my memory of this thing. I think that was just a you thing. I never pushed
I
it that
think-
far.
I think that was just me. Okay, maybe I took that gaslighting bit.
But there's the problem. We're not sure.
Exactly.
it has started to affect me so much. Like, I will gaslight people I don't know when they just ask me questions and I just lie because I think it's funny.
Wait,
I haven't done it
what?
about anything that like matters yet.
Wait, you just gaslight
No,
random
I do
people?
this too.
Well, they'll be like, "Hey, did you do this thing?" And in my inner monologue is I will never like meet this person again, so I can just say anything. Although
Yeah.
now that I say this like out loud, it sounds a little worse than what was going on in my head at the moment.
It's
I
a
hope my
God.
parents never listen to this. They're gonna think I'm a horrible person.
it's a wee bit malicious. I do it for like comedic purposes normally, or like this is why I don't go to parties in part.
Dude, I'm so used to being like drenched in irony with us. Like, there have been instances where I'm with like new people I'm trying to like hang out with, so I will like gaslight in like just completely just absurd ways. But a couple times people will just be like, "Oh yeah," and I start to think they actually believe what I say. It's like that was supposed to be a joke. Like I was making something up that was so absurd that you could not possibly agree with it.
Yeah.
But then they believe it, and it's like, oh no, I was lying. Like, what is that? What I'm supposed to say? Then they'd be
I-
like, why would you lie to me? Because they don't get it.
Yeah.
So I just dig
Yeah.
holes in all of these relationships I make with people. This sounds a lot worse when I say it out loud.
Yeah, I actually didn't realize it was this bad for you. It sounds like this
Well,
is how you're starting off with a lot of people.
I don't think personal opinion, I think starting off a new friend like relation like just like friendship, you shouldn't gaslight compulsively. I think
Well, it was supposed to be like an obvious joke. Okay,
Well,
you know this is already this podcast is already making me recontextualize my life.
And that's good. This is kind of like group therapy. I talked
It's
about
group
this the other day.
therapy.
And I'm like, honestly, we
Yeah.
kind of do need group therapy. Or I think it would be useful.
Maybe. I'm always toxic as a bit, but I fear the day I'm toxic as not a bit. I used to
Do we
be
wanna
such a
talk about-
toxic child. Like, middle school was my worst days, and I got out. I think I became a better person.
We want to talk about the
But what
group
if I-
therapy bit we
I'm
thought of
going back.
yesterday.
Not right now. We can elaborate later.
There was a
Okay.
group therapy bit yesterday?
I don't think you were there for that. So,
You left afterwards.
yeah. I mentioned how I think it would be beneficial on it. Because we were actually on this topic with other people about the gaslighting.
Yeah.
And I mentioned the concerns you brought up, although I didn't know, maybe don't gaslight. That's not a good first impression for people you will see more. Or,
Perhaps.
I don't know, it's hard, because I had an issue where I used to have really dry, like, delivery of jokes. But then, and people like a lot of times could not tell that I was joking. Which, same thing, but I know you don't deliver it like super dry, so it's like part of it's just they don't know you, but eventually they get it. But maybe don't
Right.
gaslight. Maybe be more overtly sarcastic.
I've only done that a couple times. I haven't done it recently.
Yeah.
I don't do it about anything important. I'll like say something that I think is obviously wrong, and they'll be like, "Oh, that's crazy." And I'll be like, "Oh, they believe that," and then I don't try that again.
That's
But perhaps I will just avoid it completely
I
until
mean-
I am sure they get that I am bidding.
yeah. I think you should ease into the gaslighting, if at all.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Jacob, you want to talk about the group therapy bit?
We're gonna talk about it now.
Yeah, sure.
I want to know what the
The-
group
the-
therapy bit is.
The one with Liam and the our other friend.
Yes.
Wait, have we introduced our names yet? Are
Vaguely.
we going to do that?
I'm Jackson.
I'm Jacob.
Oh, I was going to say it's funnier if we say names, we don't tell them, but I'm Liam.
Anyways,
And we
Um,
could have been gaslighting you.
we had a
Always
No,
remember
those are
that.
our names. Surely.
we had a terrible joke idea involving one of our friends and our dear co-host Liam here, involving couples therapy,
Oh my god.
where we would have like both Liam and Simon have like somewhere hooked up where they could hear us do stuff and basically just do an awful like just constant screaming and yelling.
So
that
like
doesn't sound like therapy. What?
no. So like, have you seen that? It's
The
not
sh-
4chan.
yeah.
That 4chan post where it's like, I would love to go into couples therapy with somebody I don't know, and pretend like I know them. It's kind of like that. Pretend like you and Simon are a couple, and so like I would write like a very detailed backstory and be like the guy in the chair, like telling you guys like advising you on what to say while you just completely gaslight the therapist, and then we realized how unethical and terrible that is.
That's awful.
Yeah, that idea was quickly shut down.
Maybe we are reaching a line.
No, so I mean, I think you're, yeah, I think we are, and I think it's a good
Uh-huh.
thing to ease off of gaslighting in every relationship.
Perhaps. But like I've done it so much. Like
Just
when
a little bit.
when I try to slow myself and think of a different thing to say, I just come up blank.
Well, yeah, that's
Gaslighting's all I've got.
that's breaking habits. That sounded like an addiction. It's all habits. I need it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, but
Oh yeah. There's a lot of stuff to think about.
It is, yeah. I was thinking earlier today, I was talking with a friend, and like I realized sometimes I just kind of want to go around and fuck with people, like just gaslight them. But well, I guess it's like mess with them. We're not reusing the term gaslight completely correct. Half the time it's just lying, which that's not what gaslighting is. It's making
Is
them
it not?
it's making them doubt their memory and
Uh,
making like
yeah, it's
Yeah.
based off a movie that one of my professors talked about like a few days ago. Yeah, they actually mentioned it, and I got a chuckle out of me and my friend.
yeah, so like well, that's actually a good, like you didn't know that. It's not just lying. It's worse because it's a form of lying that you make them doubt their memory and their ability to recall situations.
It's worse than lying.
It is
because
worse. Yes.
it is like
I see.
effectively gaslighting is way worse because it just makes someone doubt their sanity rather than think you're lying.
Yeah. So whenever we say no, you're misremembering, that's gaslighting. But when you
Ah,
just tell somebody something completely false, that's just lying.
So, are you a compulsive liar or a compulsive gaslighter?
I think compulsive liar is more. This has turned into kind of like a therapy session.
compulsive liar sounds worse to me, at least.
Yeah, but that's because
I-
compulsive gaslighting's very calculated.
It's yeah, gaslighting is calculated, and like not many people might know the term off their head.
Mm,
So like there could be some confusion about what it directly means.
yeah,
So
Guys, what have we become?
that's a good question. We've
we'll
become
answer that in the
podcast
next
hosts.
episode.
Come back at episode 50. We'll talk about it. Yeah. I've been talking about like how I have just the urge when I'm like out and about in like college campus to just gaslight people. Like, well, no, it's really just lie to and fuck with. I do not want to gaslight them.
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah, but like,
Yeah.
although I have like part of the reason I don't go to parties is because I would just go around and mess with people and actually gaslight about like just things other people have said.
That's what I would do too.
Because
Maybe this has become a problem.
I don't get a lot of opportunities to gaslight with people like I don't know.
that's because you
Mainly-
don't make them.
Yeah.
Like I personally sometimes just walk around on areas where there are organizations, and then I just talk to them and pretend like I make up a story. Like Liam, that time you went to those that Christian organization said like, "Who's Jesus?"
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I did do that.
Like that's a good bit that I've done personally. Or I went to, what was it? It was like not some type of book club.
You know, that's probably a good way to just like get rid of people like just who randomly go up to you and just like spout some random nonsense.
It does work. Anytime the Christian people like try to say, "Hey, join our Bible study," I just say some random shit. Like I think they asked, "Hey, join us for our open mic night," and I said, "Oh, sorry, I'm allergic to microphones." They just gave me a weird look and then walked away.
I feel like this this might be the best deterrent, but just like say something like, "Oh no, sorry, my Saturday's like filled up by a blood sacrifice" or something like that. Just
That's-
completely scare them off.
That's just a little too absurd.
Yeah.
Though that also might end up in like reports and such.
Yeah, that's a bad idea. Like, I'm busy playing with my polka band. That'll scare them away.
Sorry, I'm teaching my cello how to drive.
Yeah, basically, you just say nonsense. You're an Undertale character.
I like the level of nonsense that sounds just barely, plausible.
Agreed.
That's the best type of nonsense.
Plausible deniability.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we've wrapped up that topic.
That's
Moving on.
a topic to jump into. That's a crazy one to just start with, and honestly, I think that's a good way of like content warning.
We need
Yeah.
We might gaslight
Yeah.
you. Remember, you can always go back and see that we are wrong.
Oh, we just talked about stopping gaslighting.
This is the internet. It happens.
Did we talk about
Doesn't
that?
mean we can't be better.
I don't think we talked about gaslighting.
Guys, stop.
Either you have any other topics?
How about the Silicon Valley Bank shutting down? That's pretty crazy.
That and the other banks shutting down are also crazy. But
There was another bank?
yeah, I believe there were 3 banks in total that shut down. I watched a CoffeeZilla video about it. But I think that one was the biggest one.
I don't personally pay attention to a lot of national news, so could I get a brief context?
Honestly,
I heard you
me
mention
neither.
you mentioned they sold like other people's money for stocks.
All right,
but-
so here's my account of someone else's account of reading a story of what happened. Let me see if I remember. Basically, so you know how a bank
I know
takes
what a
your
bank,
money,
I-
right?
Yeah, I know how a bank functions.
but they immediately put it into something else.
Yeah.
Well, the Silicon Valley Bank is what I hear. Bakery Squad. If you're curious about this, you should look it up yourself after watching the whole podcast.
Yeah.
But
You can fact check
they-
those later.
a bunch of tech companies put their money into this bank, and then the bank put like a truckload of that money into certain stocks, and then those stocks tanked, and then a company wanted to get out a bunch of money, but they did not have that money yet. And then other companies heard about that, and they all started wanting to get their money back, and that didn't happen. And eventually, I think either the bank went bankrupt, or they just crashed or closed or exploded in a fire of stress.
Yeah.
It's the same
exploding
thing that
stress
happened in
balls.
2008, but on a much smaller scale.
Yeah.
Exploding
Which is
stress balls
awesome.
are very rare, but they are pretty deadly.
Well, more the bank part.
Yeah.
I believe the government is bailing them out.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
But yeah, the problem wasn't completely that. From again, I watched a CopyZilla video. They should watch it because he explains
After
it
watching
better
the
than me.
podcast.
Yeah, it's only 8 minutes, like 7
Yeah.
minutes and 59 seconds, so it's easy. But
Yeah.
so they weren't insolvent at the beginning, which is like having no money, because like banks, they do that. They invest your money into stuff like bonds primarily because they're normally
Right.
good. But I believe because inflation rates rose, a lot of the bonds they had were low value. So when a bunch of people withdrew stuff and sold, they had money to give people, but eventually they ran out, and so then it became an insolvency problem.
Womp womp.
So true. Womp womp
Just-
indeed.
Just bank better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mainly, I don't really care because it's all like rich Silicon Valley people with millions of dollars lost money. Well, actually, they didn't because the U.S. government is bailing them out, I believe.
Yeah. I'm gonna do something a little immoral. I already said this to you guys before we started recording, but I'm just gonna repeat it here to put it into the content. But I really like the naming scheme of Silicon Valley Bank because it's a bank in Silicon Valley. Like more things should follow that naming scheme because there's so many names out there that
Yeah.
just don't, like, they're just so out there. Like
Like-
I drove by a company named Zippy, and like there was no indication as to what that company is or did. Like it could be anything. Like it could be saying like they're an internet provider, and Zippy is like how fast the internet is. It's Zippy. It zips and zaps everywhere. It could be a zip line company, you know. But Silicon Valley Bank is like you go up to that and you're like, oh, what is that? Well, it's the bank in Silicon Valley. It's
Yeah.
the name.
It's
Yeah.
simple. It's concise. It's Bank of America. Like, oh, I wonder where that is. Duh.
Like my address is a bunch of numbers and letters. It should just be called my house because
Yeah.
that is what it is. And
Yeah.
then my neighbor's house should just be called my neighbor's house because that's what they are.
But what if they call it their house?
Well, their house can also work because there's my house and their house.
Really? Okay. Hi. So I don't I just learned something really interesting about a video game we play, Final Fantasy 14.
Mhm.
There's a boss fight against a character in post ARR called Gaius Van Balsar. And
Love that guy.
when there's a portion where he splits off into clones, and for the longest time I thought you could kill him before that. It is not possible.
Whoa! Are you? Hold on.
Damn.
You meant,
Also-
did you just? I don't think you can do that. Like, can you talk about the gameplay that'll be in the
What
background of the
gameplay?
podcast?
What game?
What game?
That's
Play.
metagaming.
What game?
What gameplay?
No, shut up.
What gameplay?
How did I become the victim of gaslighting? This is I was always
You're
I
not
was
the
always
victim.
the
You've always
bullier,
been the
not the
victim.
bullyee. Is this how it feels?
Also, Jackson, what guy is Spawn Belsar?
Guys, I thought we moved on from gaslighting. We can't keep talking about the same.
I
topic.
agree,
We'll
yeah,
lose
we
viewer
can't.
retention.
That's so true because we care about that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys like Dungeons and Dragons?
If there was a tier list of Dungeons and Dragons fans, I'd at least be in the top half of Dungeons and Dragons fans.
I
That's how much
dabble
of
in
a fan
it
I
from
am.
time to time.
I believe that. So, I have a question. What's your favorite classes?
Ooh, this is a toughie.
Thank you.
I don't think I can answer that. I haven't played them all yet. You know.
And then which ones have you played? Because you'll have to ignore the ones you haven't played, obviously.
I like swords, you know,
Mhm.
You know,
but I also like magic because you can like you can command someone. You can say just like come, and then it's up to them to interpret what that spell does. And
Yep.
I think that's where a lot of the magics of D&D lies.
Yeah, in the gray area. I'm a fan of the gray area.
I'd say even though I'd say Bard. Bard's just the flavor of Bard and the stuff they do is awesome.
The expertise and deception and persuasion.
Yeah, I'm a very persuasive
gaslighting
guy
of bards,
already.
too.
Yeah. What's yours, Jacob?
I think my favorite, it's honestly like a tie because like I really like Paladin,
Mhm.
but like in like the recent one shots we've done, Wizard is just so cool to play when you play it well.
Yeah, spells. See, the main thing about me for Bard is they can play music, and that's something I've always wanted to do.
I feel like you've done it before.
Not well.
Okay.
I learned the French horn, but I wasn't good at it.
Mhm.
You know, I was just never interested in the stuff they gave me. But like, if I was interested, like, they walked into class and didn't scream at actual grade schoolers every day. Instead, like, slapped down like Megalovanius sheet music. I'd be like,
That would be
holy
crazy
crab
if
apples!
a
And then
band
I'd
played
be.
that.
Wait, no, we did do that.
Yes. I arranged Megalovania for my high school jazz band's final concert.
did.
And we
I forgot
played it.
That was based, yeah.
Uh,
I guess my argument has no grounds.
I
then.
wasn't in band. I did choir in middle school, but I managed to somehow get my class to perform All Star for their pop show.
Wait,
later
really?
in the year. Yes.
That was you that did that?
Yes.
I did not
I was
know
the
that.
one who suggested it.
That's based.
I didn't know that either. That's pretty cool. Like you sung it
Yeah.
with your voice?
Uh-huh.
I see.
Okay. So on the D&D thing, my favorite. Jacob, do you want to elaborate on your choice or your choices?
Yeah, we have a whole hour to fill. Say more.
Yeah, Wizard's my. I think it's this quick tie between Wizard and Paladin because Wizard just has so many fucking cool spells that you can work with, and Paladin is just like the epitome of I hit you with a sword and then you explode.
Especially
Love sword.
one D&D Paladin, which would work really well with Wizard.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Bladesinger Wizard Paladin would go crazy.
Oh my lord.
Okay, what about yours, Jackson?
Yeah, so it's Wizard 100%.
Oh,
You guys know that I almost only play magic classes. I think I have only played in our campaigns a ranger, a monk for 3 sessions, and those are the only pure, like, the martial characters I have played. All the others have been either, like, full casters or, like, a full caster with a weapon, like my cleric sorcerer.
And your bard lock.
Oh yeah, my bard hexblade. That was kind of crazy. I could get up to like 29 AC.
Yeah,
with,
he was a pretty fun character. Shame he only lasted for 3 sessions.
Well, that's why my favorite character I've played so far, gameplay wise, my divination wizard halfling, which once we hit level 20. So I had Portent, which gave me I could manipulate 3 dice rolls whenever. I had the lucky feat, so I had 3 luck points. Then I had lucky as a halfling, so natural ones did not mess with me. Then I had bountiful luck if I needed to help other people. Then my signature spell, my first level signature spell, which I could cast infinitely, no spell slots at level 20, it was 19, I think, was Silvery Barbs. Which I love.
That's my favorite spell.
It's
I love
so
the spell that
stupid.
just fucks over everything the DM wants to do.
He literally just gaslighted it until it became the truth. Literally.
My best, like, I got nat 20s and, like, really good rolls on my Portent rolls, and that made our paladin skeleton, who played by Liam, kind of go crazy sometimes.
I believe you halved the HP of the Great Worm I threw out in that one hit.
It's insane.
That's awesome. Yeah, skeleton was awesome.
Yeah.
Remember that one time I spent like 8 turns in a lava trap and I was about to die, and then I remembered I had a jetpack on my back?
Yes, I remember very
And
well.
some of you thought that was in character, but I actually
No, I knew
forgot I
that
had
you
a
as a
jetpack.
person forgot, but I also knew it was in character for that to happen.
Yeah, see, it's broken to just make a character as stupid as I am, so any mistake I make can easily be passed off as an in-character mistake.
Mhm.
That's what I love about Dungeons and Dragons. There's always an excuse to not take blame for
Yeah.
something.
That's the downside of always playing a smart character on my part. Because I have to think, and I kind of have to carry sometimes. But I think I'm done with that for the near future.
You're done being smart.
I think we switched because like I've gone from like pretty hunky dory. I will.
I don't know. I feel like you and I, Jacob, have been the voice of reason normally in a lot of our campaigns.
For sure. Although, I mean, in Zane's,
sometimes.
Oops. My voice of reason has turned into a voice of fishing.
I can't wait.
I love fishing.
Yeah, but so,
guys,
Mhm.
who put an elephant in a room?
Probably nobody. It didn't really fit.
Bit of a callback to 40 minutes ago, but you know the phrase "the elephant in the room."
Oh, wait,
who did that?
Oh shit, they did that? Who did this?
No, who did that? That's my question.
We'll find out and tell you guys next episode.
No, whoa.
What?
We don't have to do it. We have an audience now. Streamer Squad, I want you guys to go out and find out who put the elephant in the room and comment it on this video.
Down below.
So true. Down below. Comment down below. Comment
down below.
Down below.
Come on, guys. Comment down above.
Or you can.
Did I say down above?
You said down below.
No, you guys are gaslighting me.
No, you said down below.
You said down below.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Make sure to comment down below, or you could double it and comment on the next one. Am I right?
Am I right?
Hey.
So on my topic of subclasses, do you guys have a favorite subclass to play?
Ooh. There's so many. Subclass.
100%, like Oath of the not Oath of the but like Divination Wizard is my favorite subclass.
I think just like from a select like feature basis, I'm on like a split right now.
Mm-hmm.
Despite never having played a Bladesinger, seeing one in action, it makes me really want to do it. However, at the same time, playing a Hexblade Warlock was also pretty fun.
Dude, I was about to say Bladesinger, and then I saw it coming from you, and I was like, he's totally gonna steal what I'm gonna say.
But you can have the same favorite. I also
However, I think right now my favorite is Order of Scribe, just because of all the chicanery you can do with Tempest Cleric.
Yeah, Order of Scribes is pretty funny.
I can't wait for next level to maximize a Disintegrate.
Oh yeah, because that's your backup character for Zane's.
Yeah.
Man, we're such nerds.
We are.
I learned from I was talking to some people I went to school with, and some of the people said they thought I was like a jock or something, and then they met me, and then they realized that was farthest from the truth.
Really?
So I know that I had at some point in my life I had a jock status somehow, and then immediately lost it once people like actually talked to me.
I did too.
I think I might have, since in like middle school and such I played baseball, but like after 9th grade that all just disappeared.
I did for a good part of high school because I don't know. I guess I have shoulders that look like a sports player.
Although I think if I like played like any sports at all, people would just default assume it.
Yeah, I'm just average height. Most people are below average height, so when they see people taller than them, they're like, "Whoa, that guy's like a jock. 'Cause he's so tall," which is
Yeah,
me.
exactly. I think every
But I'm
tall
average
person
height.
I know, I think that person's an athlete, especially ones I know with glasses.
What do you guys think is the cutoff between tall people and short people?
I would
I'd
say
say like
5'6".
5'11" below is short. Once you got to get into the sixes to be tall.
I was going to be a much more reasonable approach than my previous statements by going 5'6", 5'7".
That's so
That's the
tiny.
cutoff.
That's miniature.
I believe actual U.S. average height is about 5'9".
Yeah, well, the people who wrote that are very short, and they're like, let's lie to the country instead of just accepting that we're short. And that's fine. You know, short people and tall people both have their strengths and weaknesses.
Mm-hmm. Would you
Uh,
like to list some of those?
Yeah, would you like to elaborate a
Well,
bit?
okay, so for tall people, well, just being tall in general is a strength,
Really?
first of all. Because you can see more, because you're like higher up. You can reach more places, you know. For weaknesses, can't really think of any right now, but maybe I'll come back to that. For short people,
Next episode.
short people strengths, um, you can see the ground faster, I guess.
That's
closer
actually
to
not
it.
how that works based on the speed.
No,
of
the
light.
light bounces
No, at
to
that
your eyes
speed,
faster.
it doesn't matter. It's negligible.
Okay, who's the physicist here?
Yeah, me. Sorry, Jacob is.
Oh,
Moving on to the next topic. What's the next topic, guys?
The one I have another thing. Liam,
Yeah.
you ran a campaign in the past. It wasn't super structured. It was just kind of you like fucking around.
Yeah, I just fucked around.
You're currently
was
planning
fun.
one with a friend, and it's more structured. How is that going?
Oh, good.
That's it. Have you like? So I know you're developing
Okay,
the.
no, I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it.
Obviously, don't give too much. I know.
So my first campaign, I had a couple sheets of paper, like one page that I wrote stuff down on, right? But this time, I have multiple pages that I have been writing on, so I have multiple pages to pull things from.
I assume these
I
are
also
online.
thought about the world before I started everything, which was a big difference. I don't know. See, the problem is with this topic. I don't know if the audience can relate. The baking bandits out there can really. That was a good one. Actually.
That was good.
Can really relate to this stuff. You know, they're thinking like, this guy's campaign. Man, I'm gonna go watch. What's another podcast? Actually, no. Don't even name it. Don't give him any ideas. Just keep him here.
This is the only podcast on YouTube.
This is the only podcast. We've stopped gaslighting, so you can believe us now. This is the only podcast.
This is true.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, it's going well. We're planning out. We have some crazy ideas we're gonna implement, you know, and we're gonna do it in a way that's cool.
Yeah.
How we do that is something I cannot say yet, in order to preserve secrecy.
Yeah, obviously. I know that I was talking with your Codium earlier today, and he.
What did he say? What did he say?
He said, if you look in your Google Doc stuff, I am shared on there. But two, actually,
What?
I'm joking. He said that
Okay.
he asked us if we wanted to play Pathfinder 2e.
Oh my god! Again with the Pathfinder propaganda.
What's your opinion on that?
Well, my opinion is I've never touched it, so I probably shouldn't be making baseless opinions on it. I've only played D&D though. It's what I know. A whole new system is like, yowza.
Yeah, it's
like I'm finally at a point where I'm like, I feel confident in calling myself like good and knowledgeable at D&D. You know, and now he wants to switch to like another thing. Change never means anything good. That's a fact.
That's so true.
And you can believe that because we're not talking about gaslighting anymore, so I'm not doing it.
That's so true. I've never heard true.
Name one change that was good. Exactly. See, you can't.
That one key change in that one song, I can't. But that's the only one I would say.
Yeah.
Well, music's like its own realm.
The dollar is pretty good change, like the dollar coin.
The
Mhm.
dollar coin.
Yeah, that's pretty good change.
Did they change dollars to coins?
No, there are coin dollars.
I mean,
and
I
if
love
I got
getting
that as
$2
change for like
the best change is like getting those $2 bills or whatnot.
that's actually
You
pretty
know
good
what?
change, yeah.
You know what? You know what I hate? You know what I hate?
What?
It's like I hate pricing. I hate sales tax. I'm not going to go on a bunch of anti-tax propaganda. We can save that for episode 2.
Oh, so true. The
But it's
tax
like when
episode.
something is $5 and you bring it and the receipt comes out to like a gross price, like $5.47. Like that's just not a good number. And then like you get like pennies and stuff back if you're. I guess it doesn't matter that much now in digital money era, but like other countries, like they bake the sales tax into the product. So like it'll be $5 and that's everything including the sales tax. So you give them a crisp $5 bill and you don't have to take any coins to just slosh around in your pocket on your way back home from the store.
Yeah.
Other countries are really living in the future.
Yeah.
Well, that's like a sacrifice the company's willing to make because they're going to get like the gross number when it comes to the like actual profit they make.
Yeah. Yet another reason why I forgot where I was going with that. What's the next topic?
Jacob, tomorrow
Mhm.
your new campaign starts. What I know your last campaign, it was like you did a lot of planning, but like you did not
let me
railroad
explain
us.
this one.
Go ahead.
So my last campaign, I did a crap ton of planning. I did like basically like my in my spare time it was spent writing down a bunch of like session plan ideas in a notebook. And I will have to admit, you ignored all fucking 30 of them.
Yeah.
Like I mean like only about like 5. Oh, actually there was one bit where you did actually manage to like do most of my notes. And that was in the same dungeon where a fellow skeleton fell into a lava pit trap. But most of the time, I wasn't forced. I did not try to railroad. I basically gave out little like hints, little nudges that saying, "Hey, maybe you'll get something if you do this or whatnot." And most of the time, my players were like, "No." They literally like one instance was I created this swap island like place, and right before they left, like one of the leaders of like one of like the local settlements is like, "Hey, could you check on this other settlement for us? We haven't really heard from them in a while." And I mean, I guess there is reason, but like all of them decided to collectively leave the island by boat because they saw a different scarier boat run by like a deadly pirate crew.
That one of our members had history, which we never touched on again ever because they avoided their backstory.
That is also true.
But it was in
You
character.
forget that D&D parties will always follow the path of least resistance.
That is not true whatsoever.
For the least
That is
resistance,
completely true.
the least resistance was staying on the island and potentially doing like this small quest.
Well, the thing is, that quest, we so what you did, you gave us a big major goal that we had
Yeah, that was a bit
focus on.
Yeah, there is a bit okay. Although I was planning for that small quest to yield like some significant results when it came to finishing the main quest.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time I was like, "Oh, I'll give them this small little bead of like something to get some quick gold because they didn't have like a lot comparatively to the how much they had at the end." But it was planning to be, oh, it's a quick, just like go check on these friends, and it was going to turn into like some weird mind flare aberration adventure. Well, more like nightmare.
Yeah, which is why I am. Listen, the moment I heard about that, I wouldn't have gone there.
Yeah, I was planning for like some like homebrew small pocket of the far realm to be emanating out of this small little island.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
that sounds cool. You should have done that.
that's so.
Yeah, that was the plan until you guys left it. Additionally, another thing was the plan. I mean, this is more my fault than anything, but like I had set up like the existence of like a witch on like the main island they started on. But after finding out that he was first phrased as a good lich, when in actuality he was a bad lich.
Fucking asshole.
Yeah. After they found the real lich chilling in a room.
A gamer dungeon is what that was.
A gamer dungeon.
You mean a tower?
Yeah, like the
2,000 feet below the earth.
A tower.
Yeah, a tower, but only the bottom floor.
Yeah.
And I introduced a unique magic item, which was a spin off of the widely renowned and popular Deck of Many Things.
I helped make this item.
You mean the thing that completely obliterated the entire campaign?
It didn't completely obliterate it.
Derailed.
For a while, it derailed it slightly. And
do you think the campaign would have even ended as it did had it not been for that deck?
That is a good question.
It would not have. It would not have.
It wouldn't have.
It would not have. Yeah, you know what? Yeah.
We dealt with the lich like that. I said the figures for the audience.
Yeah.
They're good.
For key instance of what happened next, I had this god figure in my campaign written by our fellow co-host here in his second character's backstory. And unbeknownst to him, I had started to plan out the idea of him being like a potential big bad. Because, he was phrased as the god of comedy when in actuality he's going to be like a god of chaos. And so I made him significantly powerful. And so whenever they asked for a divine intervention of dealing with the lich was no more in a few short minutes.
Yeah. So
he was also slightly handicapped at the time because of like all the other gods in canon. But then he got his hand on the deck for like a split second and drew a card which gave him the wish spell.
That was very unfortunate.
Good on him, honestly.
He was like one of 4 people that drew that which it didn't happen that often, honestly.
So he obviously, wished himself to freedom.
Yeah.
Which worked.
Oops.
And then I had a small thing where he would basically be getting more powerful every single time they drew from this deck.
Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we continued to draw from it a few times.
We dabbled with the deck a couple times.
And such dabbling resulted in like the cross-continent teleportation and a few other hijinks until they stopped relatively using it for a while. But they then started using it again. And at one point, one of our other co-hosts here had 4 wishes under his belt at a point in time.
And most of them were there were 2 types of wishes in that deck. One with no downsides, and the other where you had to draw a card from the actual deck of many things. And every time somebody did that except one, they got the wish card. The other time, our guy got Donjon, and he had to change characters, which he was actually kind of fine with that.
Yeah.
But
sometimes we be trading out D&D characters like Pokemon cards.
Mainly
For
me.
real.
In that campaign, how many did I go through? Was I on number
You
5?
ended on 5, kid.
You should have just stuck with the first one. I don't know why you even left.
I know. No skin off my back. For the reference, that character.
Well,
What?
it was a poor situation, and
Uh-huh.
it was no one's fault.
I know it was definitely your character's fault.
Whoa,
You know,
okay.
I mean, part of it was being newer to D&D at the time, because like the motivation for skinning the bugbear ally's skin off.
He was dead already.
It wasn't. All right. So listen. Let me contextualize my side of the story. All right, because this is very one sided right now. So like, AC is a thing you can get and raise in multiple ways, and I had a certain AC, and this bugbear had a higher AC than I did, and like up until that point, the way I raised my AC was just depending on what I was wearing. And this bugbear had a very high AC, and he was just wearing his skin. And you know, it sounds a little bad, and it is. And I'll end it at that.
And my character, in his backstory, his parents and village had their skin pulled off and flayed. So when that happened, he was also a good Align character. He just left.
Mm-hmm.
Mistakes were made by all parties.
And then the second character of his left at the next important moral discussion about a certain magic item.
The bag of talk about it, Jacob, please. That's my favorite magic item.
The most horrifying magic item.
On the spot.
Oh, that's on the spot.
It was slightly on the spot. It was planned, but in response this bugbear was part of like a fun and like chill, relaxed cooking goblin tribe, and that they had encountered earlier and like won a cooking contest for.
Oh no, he was from the cooking place?
Yes. And you killed him. Well, you didn't kill him. You skinned him.
I didn't kill him.
He died.
I forgot to say that. It wasn't me.
No one killed him. You just skinned him after he died. After
right,
going a few rounds without help.
Contextually, I was also playing the skeleton, you know. So like, I already had no skin. So in character, it was like, oh, well, you know, skin's optional.
It's my turn with skin.
Anyways, those goblins started seeking revenge, and so one of them, well, they managed to find or like acquire a magical bag that's made power, or well, a gimmick was that inside the bag it grew goblins, and these goblins were mindless. Like they are basically like a training dummy whenever you toss them out, except for the fact that they would home in on whatever they deemed was an enemy and viscerally exploded, dealing force damage on them.
It was a bag that created living bombs.
Yep. One other caveat of the bag was that if you wanted to, you could force another goblin, like a regular goblin, into the bag, and if they fail the saving throw, they would become like the goblins in the bag, mindless and primed to explode. It was
poor goblins.
It was a pretty messed up magic item. It was funny, for me at least.
It was pretty funny
because once they acquired it, it spurred an hour-long debate in real time
over the morality of it.
It was a bag that made goblins explode.
Yeah, and that's when character number 2 left, because my character was like, no, this is bad. There shouldn't be a discussion about this. Also, they had just time ravaged somebody.
That too.
Well, I don't remember that part.
It was because you nuts someone. That's another bit I had in my campaign. For like the first half of it, I had a bit to avoid players from, making the joke. These nuts would give you your aptly deserved divine punishment, which involved being rapid aged about 50 years. And they decided to use that tactic as to spare someone's life.
Well, I'm sure
Torture
whoever
somebody.
we did it to probably deserved it.
He did not.
Wait, who was it?
It was a member of a mafia trying to
Yeah, the mafia.
the good mafia.
Mafia's no such thing.
He's more like a vigilante group.
I think that's hearsay, actually, because mafias are bad.
There were two. One of them was good, and one of them was the rich, corrupt ones. Anyways,
Well,
back on hand. At the end of the 1 hour discussion, they decided to destroy the bag by taking out all the goblins. If the bag had no goblins in it, there would be no goblin making.
Mm-hmm.
And they also found at the same time a previous goblin they had met as like a foreign judge for the competition had been stuffed into the bag.
rest in peace, Goblin Judge.
He did not die.
Yeah, he lived because we had somebody dispel magic him.
Oh, yeah, we were the good guys then.
Yep.
Yeah, one of our characters, profoundly atheist, in a sheer moment of desperation, called upon a deity to help him in his time of need. He cast Dispel Magic. That one goblin was saved, and the rest of them disintegrated.
We're saved. No,
They disintegrated because there is no more magic holding them together, which caused a pained reaction.
That's a happy ending if I've ever heard one.
well, I think that's gonna be it for episode 1.
Yeah, that's a great way
Yeah.
to end it.
Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah,
way to
that's
end it.
exactly what I was thinking, which is why I said that.
All right, Silent Bakers.
Baking
We'll see
Bandits.
you next time.
Yeah, see you, Baking
Yeah,
Bandits.
make sure to comment down below what you want us to talk about next,
Yeah.
and we won't do that. But the more comments there are, the
More
better.
engagement. Well,
Yeah.
see you,
Sure.
bakers. And don't forget to preheat the oven.